So have you ever heard that your words have an effect on people, and have you
Mhm.
wondered how that happens? Today we are here with Patti Negri, who is, first of all, a nationally renowned psychic medium, but
Number
also
one voted.
voted
Yeah.
number one more than once, which
Yeah.
is incredible. But she is also a master in witchcraft, and she can talk to us about how that happens, how your
Right.
words have an effect, and what exactly is it to put a spell out there?
Right. And
So,
all good things. She's a
and
good
all,
witch.
yes,
So
and
we
all the
have to
good things.
clarify that she's also a psychic medium,
Hmm.
which we said number
Hmm.
one voted, and probably amongst a lot of other things, right, Patty?
So,
So
Thank
many other
Yes.
table, window washer, pen.
That's great. Well, thanks for being with us today. We appreciate
Oh,
you.
you're welcome. This is fun. You guys are great.
Thank you. So tell us, how did you get started in all this? Give us a little background.
I was actually kind of born this way. I knew when I was a little kid, I just kind of knew that those so-called imaginary friends little kids have weren't imaginary. They were real beings and entities and spirits, most of them positive, and they had real information. I honestly think kids do have the gift. It just gets taught out of us in our modern Western non-mystical, complete left brain focused society that becomes your imaginary friend, and then all the focus goes to logic. But
Right.
it luckily didn't get taught out of me because my mom would always go, "Yeah, grandma did that too. Grandma could see that too."
Oh,
so yeah,
okay.
I
So
was
you
going
had
to
it in your,
ask, what was
yes.
the family support, or,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I was not raised with any kind of like ooh evil religious kind of a thing. My grandfather actually was this very famous psychoanalyst,
Oh,
psychologist,
Yes.
um from Turkey, but had a big like Hollywood national. He was it's funny because he was like a leading humanist, very atheist in his opinion, very Freudian. But I read he writes on religion and psychology and sex and all this stuff. I read his work. It's like, well, Grandpa, in a sense, you believe the same thing I do. You just use science and academic words versus spiritual words or religious words. It's whatever template you're putting onto it. I go, we kind of believe the same thing. We just use different words.
that's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
That's cool.
So it just I do think we need to bring that magic, that right brain intuition back. And I think this new generations are doing that. These new
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
generation, whatever they're called, a little bit more. But I see it. We even take the mysticism and spirituality out of religion. We've done that over the years, and
Yeah,
We
yeah,
do.
it's true. But
yeah,
people are more open though now. Don't you find like the last few years? I mean, you
yeah.
probably see all the open people, but right.
Yeah, I'm West Coast open, but no, and
Oh,
even
right.
take out the spirituality, take out witches and magic and
Yeah.
New Age. I, I like to step into the practical world of it. I live in the Hollywood Hills, and their little local school, LA school districts, not the best. The little local school, nobody from the hills would send their kids there because it was the lowest 10 percentile of Los Angeles school. So why would you send, if you have these fancy hill houses, why would you send your kids where they're not going to learn their reading, writing, and their arithmetic?
Mhm.
My neighborhood, very liberal, they decided we want our kids, I don't even have kids, but I was president of the neighbors, we want our kids to be able to go to this cute, beautiful 100-year-old urban school. So we did not change the math teachers, the English teachers. What we did is we brought in art programs,
Mm-hmm.
dance, acting, drama, painting, photography. We brought in tree people to teach them gardening.
Mm.
We did not change the teachers, and we within 2 years became a school of excellence
That's
because
fabulous.
these cute little immigrant schools, that kids that went there got to feel good about themselves, got to dance and sing and move around. So therefore their reading and writing and arithmetic did better. You have to have that balance of
Yeah.
logic and intuition,
Sure.
Yeah.
knowledge and knowing the between. And again, nothing to do with spirituality, but has to do with imagination and just magic.
Well,
Right. Which
I think it does have to do with
I was
spirituality.
gonna say, which does actually, yeah.
I have a summer camp.
I mean, it completely does, but we don't have to talk in that vernacular. If
Yeah.
somebody doesn't want to, we could just say
Right.
math scores went up, you
Hmm.
know?
Right,
Right,
right.
right,
Hmm.
right. Well, I for one, am glad to see that it is all starting to come together,
Yeah.
and the different parties, like your grandfather, are starting to recognize that, hey, consciousness is a thing. Scientists are realizing it is something that we can measure, right? So I think that all of these things are starting to come together, and I think it's awesome. I think you
Yeah.
guys found it with the school. I think
Yeah,
that's
that's great.
beautiful.
Yeah. So Dina has
I-
a summer camp. She
it-
works with kids all, yeah.
Yeah, I work with a lot of
That's beautiful. Yeah, and it's the quantum sciences. It's all crashing together with the quantum. It's numbers and this and that, and spirituality and science are like, oh, we're the same again, just a different template.
Finally, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's not the little ones that we have to worry about so much as the adults
right.
who are now looking, who are looking to
Yeah.
come for some answers, and I'm sure you're probably seeing a lot of that also.
Yeah.
So you started as a young person and it was in your family and you had this really unique support system. How did it go on through life? Like when did you start doing
I,
this work?
I think I became a seeker about 13th. I wanted to look into the Christian roots from my mom's sides and the Jewish roots from my dad's side. My grandfather came from Turkey, it would have been Sephardic back. And I would go to evangelical, regular Christian, Buddhist temple, Jewish temple. And then I think somewhere I was pretty young, I went to a Long Beach Women's Spirit, which was a Wiccan group at the time in the 80s. I'm like, oh, I found my people. I talk to trees. They talk to trees. I see those elementals. And sorry, my cat's going
That's
a little.
okay.
That's
Gracie, go away.
Come
Hi,
on.
Gracie. Hi.
Oh, she's a nice calico.
Yeah, she's crazy and good and crazy. So and so that kind of my path, but I've studied again religion, philosophy, occult sciences. That's when I started my school about 5 years ago, University Magicus. I have like 20 teachers now internationally, it's all online, but I won't let a teacher say this is the truth. They get to say this is a truth or
Yep.
this is my truth.
That's
So it's
great.
different paths. Who's to say, the way from my house to your house, there's one way to get there. You could fly, you could walk, you could drive. There's many paths. To me, your belief system, your spirituality, your religion is a way for you to navigate. And again, it's so often it's similar, same, just different words.
Right.
So anyway, I became that, but I kept my private life really, really separate because I was in production. I lived in Hollywood. I was both on the actor side of things, and I was a dancer, and then I went into producing. And then when I had my production company, a very, very corporate audience.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
I know this story, but I love it. So yeah,
I wanna
you
hear
gotta
this.
tell
Yeah,
this.
and I'm like, these people can't know that, I talk to dead people on one hand and dance around bonfires in a cloak on the other. So I kept it separate until about 2008 when the big corporate crash came and corporate entertainment became a dirty word. My business is going, everything's canceling. It's like, we can't do this. We're laying off people. We can't do these things. And reality television was going like this. And me being sitting in the middle of Hollywood, literally and figuratively, being both sides of the camera and being legitimate. Somebody called me from a then reality show and they go, Patti, we need you to do one of your seances, which is one of the things I've been known for and started doing when I was 7, literally 7 or 8. They're like, do one of your seances on this. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I appreciate it, but that's my private life. That can't be public. Please. No, I'm sorry. Thank you, but no, please. And I'm looking at my complete empty calendar over here and I'm like, well, what's the name of the show? And literally she goes, well, it's called Mobile Home Disaster and it's on country music television. I'm like, who'd watch that?
Yeah.
Who'd watch Mobile Home Disaster on? And little did I know everybody, but I'm like, okay, I do this just one time. I used the word and I went and it was the most fulfilling thing I'd done since I could remember. I got to help a little girl who everybody thought was crazy because she was drawing portals on the ceiling of her motorhome. And I'm like, no, there are portals on the ceiling of her motorhome. I got spirit crossover that was kind of stuck there, which does sometimes happen.
Sure.
And equally as important, I got to help this kind of Southern Bible Belt cast and crew open up their minds just a little that this isn't dark or evil or negative and real. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so much fun, but never again. Never again. And when it aired like 2 months later, I'm like, okay, that was fun. My very first phone call the next morning was from my biggest national corporate client. Like, I think it was a bank or something. They're going, hi, Patti. Hi.
Uh-oh.
I saw you on television last night. Oh, you did? Yes, I did. Oh, and I'm like, oh my God. She's like, I know you were into the paranormal. I'm like, yeah.
Right. What do you say?
paranormal, and proceeded to tell me her first ghost encounter or
Isn't that amazing? All right.
yeah, what am I doing? I'm out of the closet. I'm out of the psychic medium closet. I'm out of the broom closet. This is who I am. And I haven't looked back.
Awesome.
I have my production company, haven't had time to do anything in years because this is so much versus, teaching motivation to the HR department through a song and dance extravaganza is not as fun as opening up someone's heart to the possibility and empowerment of what they can do just as humans. It's so much more.
Yeah. Awesome. And you can tell that you enjoy everything that you do.
It's the best. I'm the luckiest girl in the world.
Yeah, that's
I'm
amazing.
grateful
And
every
we
day.
know you go
And your
all
time
over the
has come,
world.
right? I mean, this is
Yeah.
it. Your time has come because now it's not just, well, not to make little of that, your passion and rewarding, but now it's the important work because now it's what everybody is trying to understand.
Right. And everybody needs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, I am grateful every single day, and I do get to travel to amazing places and do amazing things. So
Yeah. So you do a lot of paranormal work, but you
I do
also
a lot of it's an interesting mix. I know the paranormal because of my last 9 years on Ghost Adventures, like basically 2 episodes a year for the last 9 years, which is pretty good because it's a very boy oriented show. And so I get to travel with that. So that's where my paranormal and the paranormal conventions, or paracons as they're called, all over the country mostly. But then I've got the whole spiritual and self-help side of things too. So it's great. I don't know if, I might be going to a castle in Romania or Australia or Ireland spirituality tours one day, and then, a ghost hunt in, Penhurst prison the next. It's fun.
right. It's like it seems like it's never boring, right?
Never boring. Because really, it's what's funny too is that because it's never been about money for me. Of course, we have to make money, but so once I'll be one weekend I'll be flying private and staying at all 5-star. The next week I'm in Motel 6, for a TV show. The next week it's like
Cool.
Yeah, it's an adventure.
Roll with it though. Yeah.
I think we do just have to clear this up for our viewers, or listeners. Patty, what does it mean to be a witch? Like,
we
let's
got
just establish that for everyone.
Two things, actually. It can mean two things. Number one, it can mean your belief system, your religion, your spirituality. Like Wicca is a religion. It's a registered, official by American government, whoever religion. You could do your donate, whatever. So it can be that, like, oh, I worship the goddess as well as the male god. I follow the moon cycle. There's the wheel of the year, the Sabbats, which amazingly align with the regular Judeo-Christian holidays. They're the same.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
or it could mean the practice of witchcraft, which means I, as a witch, I am willing to take fate into my own hands as far as spell working and creating what you want. New Age will call it something different. A Christian will call it prayer, manifestation, all those things. But that's why I use the term good witch, because
Gotta clarify.
black or white, but I only work in the high vibration. Not because I believe in some hell you're going to go to, but you have to live in the world you create.
Yes.
So why would I sit here sending out taxes and curses, and because I have to live in that world? Why not send out love to those people? Because you live in the world. We all know that whether you call it the rule of three in spell crafting, or karma, or cause and effect, action and reaction of science, you live in the world you create. So I just chose to create a very positive, high vibration one, and it works. You can get everything you want from positive magic, everything.
Can you want to give us some tips or some?
Yes, I can. I will. I believe in this mind, body, spirit. Again, 20,000 psychology books. Mind, we know we will never surpass our own belief system. If you don't think you could do something, you're not going to do it. If you think you can conquer the world, you're the people who are going to do it. Mind, you have to have your headset. Body, you got to get off the couch. You got to take action. I'm going to work out. I'm going to get healthy. You got to get spirit. Spirit is the part that a lot of people don't understand, but spirit is the battery that makes it happen. Actually, spirit is, you could do it through traditional, go to church, go to temple, prayer. Faith is through spirit. You could do it new age ways, visions, affirmations, vision boards. That's seeing the spirit. We do what I do, candle work, spell casting, herbs and oils, dancing around. But you could look at everything you've ever accomplished in your life. You believed you could do it and that you deserved it. You've gotten off the couch and taken action, and you had some spirit or magic or belief behind it. The stuff you haven't quite got done, you just have to tweak one or two of those things. You don't really believe it, that you can do it or see it or smell it or taste it, or that you deserve it, or you haven't gotten off the couch to take action, or that magic behind it. You tweak them and you get it. And that's my big thing. I don't care what somebody believes or the belief system, but what I notice with people is that we've given away our power. We give away our power to other people. We give away our power to fear all the time. We give our way to limiting belief systems. So when I had this magical way of being, but at 15, I was found out that my mom had taken a drug when she was pregnant that doctors gave women in the 50s and 60s, and false belief called diethylstilbestrol. So when I hit puberty, I didn't hit puberty at 15. I went into menopause instead. So I was, my first surgery, I'm like 9 on the inside, 50 on the outside, which was 15 years of every autoimmune disease, a lupus, fibromyalgia, this and that, a tumor growing in my head, every carcinogen known to man. Oh. And it's like, I'm a magical person, but I have this stuff, but I was victim. And at 30, when I was told that my doctor had a great doctor, but you've been not organized, done correctly with the hormones and this and that, the tumor is so big in your pituitary, which makes you more psychic. So that if you make 50, and I was a dancer, if you make 50, which you probably won't because of all the carcinogen and the vaginal and the cervical, blah, 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 you probably won't. But if you do make 50, you'll be in a wheelchair at the age of 30. And I just said,
no,
I'm not going to buy that. I haven't been sick since. I stopped getting sick at 30. So at 50, instead of being dead or in a wheelchair as promised, and the fact that I live in the middle of Hollywood, I'm like, I want to show myself and the world that I can do this. So literally, I decided to try out for the world's hardest obstacle course, the TV show Wipeout at the time, the one with the big balls. So I literally I used positive magic, manifestation, whatever you want to call it, beat 100,000 people and got on the show Wipeout. It was the most painful, frightening, scary, empowering thing I had ever done, but I did it. You had to go through physicals and psychology and all of the above. It was great. So I'm like, we can do anything we believe we can do. I firmly 100% believe that. And then I just wanted to prove to myself, it's like, okay, I've done the physical thing. That was so scary and so empowering. When I changed my idea about fear, because fear can, as we know, freeze us in our tracks, make us not make that phone call, not ask for that, whatever we want to do. Or fear is $1 million industry that I live in. We pay money to get scared, to ride roller coasters, to watch scary TV shows and movies. It's like, why not flip the fear about, oh, I'm so scared to say what I really feel. Flip it into that, I'm so scared and I love it. It changes everything. So I decided to just like, okay, I've done the physical thing. What else can I do to prove that this philosophy, mind, body, spirit, though in witchcraft, we call it creation working dispatch.
Okay.
Working dispatch. Yeah. So I go, okay, what can I do that I have no business doing and no talent for? Well, I got kicked out of home ec in high school. My husband won't let me in the kitchen. I do not know what saute means. I'm going to Gordon Ramsay. I'm going to use this philosophy, belief system, magical thing. Next thing I knew, I beat another 100,000 people, and I'm on MasterChef season 3.
Showing great. I love this.
Yeah, how the intent you put into, whether you're making instant oatmeal, you have to put in positive intention, how it works, which way to stir, what cinnamon will bring, how basil will take away I mean, just using magical cooking, even though I still don't know what saute means. Gordon Ramsay's a ghost, I have to tell you.
He's what?
But he's afraid of ghosts, Gordon is. But again, and I still don't know what saute means. And then it's like, okay, that was as scary as Wipeout. And then I'm like, okay, I did that. This is my new hobby. This is fun. what else can I do just to show it to myself and to the world?
So we just wanted to talk a little bit about an exciting event that we have. And if you're local, it is in New Jersey, in Bergen County and Ridgewood.
You can certainly fly in if you'd like to.
Yes, please fly in. But it's Sunday, March 23rd. And we are going to have a panel of intuitives that are world renowned, also healers and mediums.
And mediums, and all of which who have been guests on our podcast.
Yes.
So you've had a chance to get to know them, hear about them.
Or you can certainly go back and listen to their podcast. But we have some really great people, and they are there to talk about the power of intention, which is our title this time, and give their different perspectives on that. And we'll probably jump in with that too.
We always do.
Because we like to.
But they will answer your questions, and the really cool thing is you're going to get guidance from more than one intuitive. Right? So
at least two, if not all the panelists jump in, because they can't control themselves, honestly. But that's okay.
And even when you're not called on, somehow miraculously your questions are answered. It's an incredible vibration.
Yeah, it's a great energy in the room. It will raise your vibration and your frequency just by being there.
Yeah.
But if you have questions, you're seeking clarity, or just anything you want to know about in any aspect of your life, right? Relationships, love, career.
We never know what's going to happen, but it's always amazing.
Right. Just come with your questions and look forward to getting them answered by our amazing panelists.
And please remember to subscribe below and like us so that we can continue to bring you incredible guests. And
thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.
Again, if I'm this motivational speaker and I'm this thing, well, what can I do that I have, again, no business doing? And I was like, America's Got Talent. And I'm like, well, I was a dancer, but never that great. My claim to fame is I got to dance with Gregory Hines, which was the most amazing.
I love Gregory Hines.
Yeah. But I'm like, but I'm really not like the people you see on that America's Got Talent show. I'm not them. Okay. Next thing I know, I'm at the LA Convention Center. I was like number 5,000, and they went to then every convention center. Next thing I know, I'm on America's Got Talent.
Really?
Whirling around, psychically reading Howie Mandel's dog. Equally scary, equally hysterical. So again, and these are things, my odds aren't 100,000 to 1, much more, because 100,000 talented people versus me, 100,000 cooks versus me.
Right.
So
really the power of the mind. Yeah,
that's awesome.
We can do it. And we just, so see, it's all in your belief system.
I know. I have to say, shall I say the thing about my dad? My whole life growing up, my dad was a Marine, but he was an Olympian, and he always said, Deb, it's all mental. Like my whole life. And when I was little, you don't know what that means, right? And then he just always said it. That was like the main thing. And it's so true. If you think you're going to do that, you can do it.
Yep.
It's nothing stopping you but yourself, right? And your own, what you're thinking.
100%.
So simple, but
figuring that out, even all the craziness, the TikTok, the Instagram, but and some of it's oversimplified and some of it's a little off kilter. But again, that's the thought process now, and I love it.
And people are going down that path now, believing those things, even if they're off kilter. That's a good path to be on, off kilter, that you just have to adjust,
right.
Rather than being on the negative train of just everything is going to go wrong,
and you can't do
the old adage used to be, if you remember, everything that can go wrong will go wrong.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
And you don't hear that anymore. And I too came from a mom who said, you can do anything.
Yeah.
You can do anything.
My mom did too.
Yeah. And I grew up believing you can have and do anything. That was just the way it was. But if you think about it, what I just said, whatever can go wrong will go. We all said that as young people. You heard that all the time.
Yeah, you did, I guess.
We're not hearing that now. So
right.
Being of a certain age, yes.
But
I never hear that anymore. You guys hear that? Any young people in here? No. You probably never even heard it, right?
So
yeah, they're all in their 20s, in their early 20s. They're all saying no. They never.
Babies.
Yeah.
So in your school, what demographic are you working with? Like, is this an online school that people from all over are joining in? And do you see predominantly 30-somethings or 20-somethings, or is it just a big mix of people?
It's a big, fabulous mess.
Oh, that's
I love it.
It's all online, it's international, and it's super affordable. When I started, it's a labor of love.
Yeah.
I would see these schooled by these celebrities or pseudo celebrities, and it's thousands and thousands of dollars. I go, I couldn't have afforded that when I was young. So literally, it costs $10 to $20 a class. I have
Oh,
medium courses, psychic development courses.
oh, I love it.
And
Yeah.
I have 20 teachers now. Some's teaching, Portuguese magic, and somebody's teaching. I have a werewolf on staff, not like he let you in a fursuit. He's actually a professor at Washington University, teaches kind of nature magic.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
and I just let them say, this is a truth or my path, and you pick. So I have 20 teachers all over the world, and the students are all over the world. And if you can't come live, like I teach Pacific time Tuesdays at 6 p.m. That's 9 p.m. for East Coast, a little late, but it's 2 a.m. in the UK.
Oh, yeah.
So I do get to go, good morning, good
Yeah.
afternoon, hello tomorrow in Australia. But everybody gets a video. So it's very intimate. So even if, say, 40 or 50 people sign up for every class, we'll have usually less than 20 on our Zoom screen. So it's interactive, it's immersive, we're talking, we're journey, everybody discusses. So it's the best of both worlds. It's good. And then everybody gets to keep the video afterwards.
Oh, wow.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, we were just doing pendulum classes before.
Oh, beautiful.
It was
Yeah,
just
you
pendulum classes for everybody here.
you should come do a guest thing at my school. It would be great. We're starting to do that, having certain like experts and whatever. And then pitch your own thing. We're not, don't do that.
Right.
I just think it's really cool that we have an audience now that wants to know these things, that are open to it, because it's nice.
Right,
It's after all the years of being the odd one out,
Yeah,
Which
right.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. And you still do private sessions, right?
I still do private sessions. I completely do.
All right.
Yeah, just like this. Mostly, I mean, people come. I do work one-on-one here in Los Angeles because people can come to me or I can go to them. But 90-some% of it is just on Zoom, just like this.
Oh, okay, great. And also tell us, I know you're the author of a couple books, right? You want to talk about those a little bit?
My first book, Old World Magic for the Modern World. This was self-published.
I read that. That was
this I think it's 5 years. It's been a bestseller in 5 countries for 5 years. It's because it's super simple. I spent more time unwriting it than writing it on purpose.
It is. It's very
Love it.
It's super easy. It's like that's too many words. I spent more time. It's like life hacks. Why you stir what a little salt in your toilet will do. Oh wait, all your lower chakras are open. Why you would carve something on your soap. Just like a little kitchen, a little love, a little how to talk to dead people in a super easy thing. This year I was part of a group book that came out on intuition. We launched in New York. It was so fun. It granted called Women Gone Wild Intuition Edition. And women from all walks of life, like 20 top women on the planet, they're from medical doctors, mostly had a spiritual bent, but not all. Their idea of intuition. And then I have a new one coming out in just a couple of months with Llewellyn, going back into my paranormal and witchy side on haunted dolls and magical puppets, because haunted dolls are very, I have a book behind me.
This is something we have not touched on.
I know. This is
in all of
right.
We have not touched on that at all.
What's with the dolls?
Yes.
Well, everybody likes paranormal. Let me explain what my thoughts on paranormal are first.
Okay.
It ghost hunting, and my show is the old granddaddy. I've been on it 9 years. I think they're closer pushing 20 in the show. But we know that when times get scary, people as a rule would go back to religion. They're scared. We don't know if the world's going to blow up. Russians, aliens, who knows? China. So you go back, you get scared. So you go back to your faith. No. That's not holding up for everybody. Like, but my church isn't holding him for, or whatever. So therefore, all the new alternative, witchcraft being the largest growing religion in America, New Age, all sorts of beautiful new belief systems. But there's a whole group of people out there that I don't want religion. I don't even want your stupid spirituality stuff, but I'm scared. And I want to know if we get blown up tomorrow that I'm not going to go away. They become ghost hunters. They want to go on a paranormal thing, whether it's to the local haunted school. They want to go and see that there's more than just this, what we see on the TV screen every night, the scary thing we see. And so they usually will go on an investigation or something, and then they'll say, holy moly, yes, that's real. And then often they will backdoor back to a belief system or their religion or something new that will help serve them. So it's great. It's like the new religion for people who don't want religion, but it'll back them door into a belief system.
Right.
So my haunted dolls, the last few years, Zach, the guy I work with, you know, it's amazing how many grown men I know, you know, 30, 40, 50 something grown men that have their haunted doll collection.
Oh my God.
He's got,
really? Oh, that's
yes,
so funny.
that's a whole
I mean,
thing. So I did it from a spiritual magical, because you just don't want a dark haunted doll because they'll make you sick. It's not positive. So how to really control a doll, how to bring spirit into a doll, and then magical puppets, because again, that's part of spell crafting and witchcraft. You know, people think that puppets are voodoo dolls, whether you have a little, gingerbread doll with your sticking pins in. It's like, no, I'm getting rid of my headache with acupuncture sticking into my little doll. So that's the book I have coming out with Llewellyn.
well, that's really great. Yeah, I like that.
So Patty, when you're working with these entities that have crossed over, that are still hanging around, what's going on there? I mean, we hear, all different things, but what's going on there?
My experience, they're hanging out because they want to. I don't think that they're stuck. Some people think, oh, they're stuck, they haven't crossed over.
We hear
no,
that.
No, I call those the shades, the ones who don't know they're dead. They have this little edge to them. They're the ones, maybe it was unexpected or violent or not in the plan of things death, and they don't know. They're literally ones that you could cross over, go to the light, Carol Ann. We create light from our heart. Everyone in the room, whether it's 1, 2, or 200, will see and experience it. But most of the time, they hang out because they can. In my experience, there is no time and space on the other side. There is just no time and space. So
Nope.
My belief system is the which almost said you kind of go to the afterlife you believe in. I do believe in reincarnation, but if there's no time and space, you could be at the pearly gates visiting grandma. You could be reincarnated as, your nephew, and sitting there watching your grandkids grow up. Because I mean, I've got a million stories I won't go into, how I know who I was in my last life and where I'm buried. And then I came to a seance. I'm like, oh, this is confusing. This is really confusing. But again, I think it's essences of, even with reincarnation, you have essences, not the whole person. So I think 90% that they I'm out, even at the scary places, at the prison, at the insane asylum, because it's the life. They're mostly not being tortured anymore, but it's the life they knew. So they hang out.
Right. Okay. So they can go to the light and then pop back and all.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, we do hear that they're stuck a lot. So
yeah,
and there are some who
you can definitely feel the ones that are stuck.
Okay.
And then we'll tell you.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
I mean, there is a few places very, very dark. A few places like the Cecil Hotel. Everybody's heard of the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles.
Right.
The one that Alyssa Lamb, the girl in the water tower, and 2 different serial killers, Richard Ramirez, lived there. More people jumped out of windows, thrown at horrid. I've probably been there more than anybody. 3 television shows. But that place, spirits are being held down and stuck. There's something so much bigger than ghosts and spirits. So a big egregore has been created that is so evil and so negative. It affects the living, makes you want to kill yourself just being in the building, and it affects and holds on to the dead. That place needs clearing.
Wow.
I would love to gather every healer, shaman,
clear it,
rabbi, Reiki man. I would like to gather like 200 people and hold hands.
You need a lot, right?
It needs it bad.
Done to protect yourself when you go in, because you said you've been there numerous times. So what are you doing to just ensure that you can walk through that safely?
I work with my guardians. I work with a lot of dragons. I work with elemental air, fire, and water, earth. I work with herbs. I work with oils. I work with a lot of black tourmaline and everything that I have. Also, I make sure right at the back of your neck is shut down. People don't know that is the biggest portal on our body. Everybody has the third eye. Yes, we want our third eye open so we can see, experience, develop our psychic abilities. But the one on the back of our head, you want to shut that down, because that's where spirit gets in. Like, that's why when you pray, you bow your head for
Oh,
God, for spirit
I
to
never
come
knew
right
that.
in. You close that down. I use
Yes,
protective
yeah.
never, just physically. Right where your head and neck come together. You put your fingers back there, it goes in and out. Shut that down for this
How
whole
do you
crown
shut
of the
it
leaf.
down? Just by intention?
The intention, I will literally rub it. I'll put some oils on it, but you don't have oils, just rub it. Intention going. This open, this
Like,
closed. Unless you are
all the
channeling,
time, or just when you're going into a situation? Like, when would
you're
you do
going
that?
into a situation, or if you're being too empathic,
So
you
interesting.
guys are, we're all empathics.
Yes.
Shut it in there.
Oh,
Love it.
wild. Okay.
Wow.
That's great. I've never heard that before.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
We pretty much hear everything, but over the 20 some years of
Mhm.
doing it, right?
I learn something new every single day.
Yeah,
Every
that's
Thank
fantastic.
you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you will. You'll feel it. You will feel it. And
Yeah.
when you want to open it, you open it. If you're channeling or really bringing through spirit.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That is cool.
Any other things like that you want to tell us?
I got a million of them.
Ah, I mean, it takes a lot for us not to have heard of
Well,
something,
I'll
right?
tell you,
That's
yeah.
pretty
I mean,
good.
that is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that people need to, again, especially gifted people like both you ladies and probably everybody watching and listening to it.
Oh,
We have to come up with an on-off switch. I learned that when I was a little.
it's so
Yes.
true.
Yes.
When I was a kid, I would walk around with my thumbs inside that, and people would make fun of me, like sticking my thumb in but that was my off switch. I don't have to do that anymore, but I do wear half gloves a lot. And if you notice how many really strong psychic intuitive wear little half gloves, because it closes off this portal of the receive and give thing. But off on, I teach people to do it with breath, do it when I don't want to go to the grocery store and see anybody's dead mother. I just want to go for groceries, and
Yeah, I know there's some people that, yeah, they seem to never shut it down.
Yeah,
And
I
then,
mean,
yeah,
there
there's a
people
lot.
have lots of challenges
Yes.
because they don't shut it down and they're
Right. And they're
open
super
and
gifted,
yeah, they
but
get very
they're
nervous.
not, yeah. And then there's like,
yeah, you have to. And it makes the on that much stronger and the off, because in my belief system, even in a pagan belief system, you want the biggest divide between this world and that world.
right.
We'd lay down our broom. This side is the mundane world where gravity lives and you go to work and you stop at red lights. This side of the world is where magic happens and fairies and magic and miracles exist. You want the much definition as you can between them. So on, off.
Well said. Yeah.
It makes it that much stronger, and the off, so you can live in the mundane world and not be that crazy weird psychic person on the corner.
Yeah. Right.
I hope that everybody who's hearing this is getting so much from this because
Yeah.
it's just
It's
so
very
helpful, especially if you're starting out and just trying to find, who you are and what your intuition is to know these things going
Yeah.
in.
We talk a lot about how to trust your intuition and, that type of thing.
Recognize it.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you see is happening now, just briefly with where we are as the human race? What's your just quick outlook of where we're heading in the next 20 or 30 years? How do you feel about it?
30. How about
Well, we're going through chaos, that's for sure.
Yeah, sure.
Every day I'm like, it can't get weirder. It can't get worse. Oh, wait, it can. I'm
Yeah.
living in the middle of Los Angeles where I was literally evacuated from my house less
Right.
than a week ago. Thought I could have lost everything. Thankfully, luckily, didn't.
Yeah.
I have friends who did,
Yeah.
which I'm not going to get political, but Patalics and ways of being and lack of integrity and lack of virtue and lack of ethics and lack of moral code. And
Yes.
yet awakening on one side, I think in many ways the divide is getting bigger, but I am being the eternal optimist. I'm hoping that it's going to cause something that we can't take this anymore or something like that to turn it
Right.
around.
Right. So that we all do
Move
come
into the-
together.
Yeah.
And we are going to go, wait, this isn't working. So
Right.
something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what
Well,
everybody
I think-
seems to say that, knows. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to, those of us that want to be optimists, we have to hold the light. So
We
that
have to hold the light.
hold the light.
Right.
And the more dark the light we have to bring. I always say it's like,
Yeah.
you bring a candle into a dark room, you bring in light. Yes, you see all those scary shadows though. With the candle, you're seeing that, but that's bringing the light.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so true. Yeah. Wow.
We
That's
covered a lot
good.
of great.
Yeah, I
think
know. I feel
there's-
like we talked about it. Well, yeah, a lot of different topics all in one.
All in
Anything
one.
else you want to tell
Or-
everybody that you can-
No, this is great. You girls are great. Thank you for what you do for the world. This is
Oh,
amazing.
thank you. We're
Thank you.
trying. Yeah.
Yes. Find me on social media. I have a weekly podcast called The Witching Hour, which you guys should
Yes.
come on.
Okay. You'd love
I have amazing guests every week, so I can learn something every
I
week
love
Right,
that. That's
yeah.
great.
all over the world. I have leaders from all sorts of things, so we
Oh, wow.
get to learn time. And
Yeah.
it's very inspiring and very positive. So it's called The Witching Hour with Patti Negri.
And
Okay.
everyone should check it out.
Everywhere.
Yes.
Full Podbean, Spotify, and a video on my website and on my YouTube, pattinegri.com.
Okay,
So
great.
I've got tons of, I do free magic lessons every week. I have
I
tons
love
of
this. I don't know how you have the time.
all-
She's having fun.
I know
She's
she is.
doing-
She does
right?
everything.
She's having
Yeah,
fun.
she
It's
does.
awesome.
Yeah.
I know.
Say that. I always tell my kids, do something that you love doing because then you don't ever feel like you're going to work.
Yeah.
And
No,
that's really.
yeah, it changes everything.
It
So
does.
enjoy what you
It
do.
does.
And of course we have to do some things we don't enjoy. Laundry, but
Right,
find
but
what you like
minimal.
about it. Find what you like about it and go with that,
Exactly.
And then the
Patty,
opportunities-
thank you for being on.
Thanks.
We're so grateful. It was a good
My
time.
pleasure.
It's great.
It is an
I hope
honor.
to see you when you're on the coast again or when
Yes.
we're out. I mean, right now,
Yeah.
California has to heal, so sending prayers and love
Yeah,
that way.
yeah, you are.
I'm all over the planet this year again. I post my schedule on my website.
Uh-huh.
I'm home for a week and a half and then gone again, but it's all
wow.
good. But thank you
Yeah.
again for what you guys do. This is
Yeah,
great.
absolutely. All right. We'll talk to
Well,
you
let's talk
soon
to you
then.
soon.